Welcome back to Agani English. So glad you could join us today. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Eric, and we are super excited to be here with you all, diving into another really helpful lesson to, boost your English skills. That's what we're all about here at Agani Academy, right?
Absolutely, Eric. And today we have something really practical planned for everyone tuning in. We're going to be tackling like five really common English mistakes that, we hear all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And more importantly, we're not just going to point them out. We're going to show you how to fix them and fast. We want this to be, super conversational, but also incredibly informative, giving you those actionable tips you can use right away.
That's the goal. So get ready to refine your English and, avoid those little slip-ups that sometimes trip us up. We're really excited to jump into this lesson with you. Let's get started. Kicking things off with our first common mistake, and this one, Eric, I hear it a lot. It's I am agree.
Oh, yes, I am agree. It's so prevalent, isn't it? Many learners say it because, in their native language, they might use a form of to be with the equivalent of agree. But in English, agree is actually a verb itself.
Exactly. That's the key point right there. Agree acts as its own verb, so it doesn't need that to be verb like am, is, or are to support it. It's strong enough on its own, you know?
Yeah, it really is. So instead of I am agree, the correct and natural way to say it is simply I agree. Just a simple subject-verb structure, like I agree with you on that point, or we agree to meet at 3 p.m. See, no am needed there.
Right. And if you do want to use to be, for some reason, perhaps to emphasize a state of being, there's another way to phrase it that's also correct, but it changes agree from a verb to a noun phrase. You can say, I am in agreement.
That's a great point, Amanda. So you'd say, I am in agreement with the proposal, or they are in agreement about the new policy. It's a bit more formal, maybe, than I agree, but it's perfectly correct. The main thing is to remember agree itself is a verb, so I agree is your go-to.
Absolutely. So remember that, folks. Drop the am before agree. Just I agree. It'll instantly make your English sound more natural, more native-like.
All right, moving on to our second common mistake, Amanda. And this one also trips up a lot of learners, I've noticed. It's using don't when they should be using doesn't.
Ah, yes. Like, he don't like it instead of he doesn't like it. Or she don't understand. It's pretty common, isn't it?
Super common, and it really comes down to remembering that S again. But this time for the auxiliary verb do when it's used in the negative form. So when you're talking about he, she, or it in the present simple negative, you must use doesn't.
Exactly. Don't is for subjects like I, you, we, and they. So I don't like coffee or they don't live here. But as soon as you switch to a third-person singular subject, like, my friend or the dog or the weather, it becomes doesn't.
That's right. So instead of my friend don't know the answer, it should be my friend doesn't know the answer. Or the car don't start becomes the car doesn't start. It's a small change, but it makes a huge difference in sounding natural.
Yeah, it really does. Think about it this way. The S sound is just clinging to the third-person singular, even in negatives. So he doesn't, she doesn't, it doesn't. Always remember that S sound. It's like a little signature for that subject.
A little grammatical signature. I like that. So practice saying it out loud. He doesn't want to go. She doesn't eat meat. It doesn't matter. The more you say it correctly, the more it'll just, flow naturally when you're speaking.
Absolutely. It's all about building that muscle memory for correct grammar. So next time you're about to say he don't, just pause for a second and switch it to he doesn't. You got this.
Okay, so moving on to our third common mistake, and this one I think causes a lot of confusion because both words mean similar things, but they're used differently. It's mixing up say and tell.
Oh, yes. I hear this all the time. People saying things like, he said me, or she told that she was tired. And, they're not quite right.
Exactly. So what's the core difference here? Amanda, what should people be thinking about when they choose between say and tell?
Well, the biggest sort of rule of thumb, I guess, is that tell typically needs a direct object, meaning you have to say who you're telling. So you tell someone something, like he told me or she told him. You can't just say he told that without specifying who.
Right. So it's always tell plus person plus something. Like, tell me a story. Or, she told us the news.
Precisely. Whereas say often doesn't require that direct object right after it. You can just say what was said. So, she said that she was tired. You don't need to say, she said me that she was tired. That's not natural at all.
So if I want to just state what someone communicated, I use say. He said, I'm leaving. Or they said that the meeting was canceled. No to me or to us needed right there.
Exactly. You can add to someone after say for emphasis. Like he said to me that he was leaving, but it's not mandatory in the same way it is with tell. Tell, it really, it demands that direct object. Think of it like this. Tell implies a listener. Say is just, the act of speaking words.
That's a good way to put it. So he told me a secret, but he said a secret doesn't quite work. You would say he told me a secret because he's telling you.
Exactly. Or she said, it's cold outside, not she told it's cold outside. The key is that direct object or lack thereof. Practice saying these out loud, trying to feel the difference. He told me about his day versus he said that he had a busy day. All right, so moving on to our fourth common mistake. And this one, this is a classic. It's forgetting the S or ES in the third person singular.
The silent killer of present simple tense. Like when people say, he go to the store instead of he goes to the store, or she like ice cream instead of she likes ice cream. It's so common.
It really is. And it's one of those things that, it's a fundamental rule in English, but it's just so easy to overlook, especially when you're speaking quickly or you're just not, actively thinking about the grammar. So for he, she, it, or any singular noun, like the dog, my friend, the car, in the present simple tense, our verb needs an S or sometimes ES at the end. Likely to hear, I really like it. That really just, adds that emphasis in a very natural way.
Or if you want to go even stronger, you could just say, I love it. It's simple, direct, and conveys a much higher degree of liking than I like it very much. So for instance, if you're talking about food, I really love this pizza sounds so much more natural than I like this pizza very much.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not just for like. If you're talking about appreciation instead of thank you very much, which is common, but you might also hear I really appreciate it or I appreciate it greatly. Greatly is a little more formal, but it's still like a very common and natural alternative that expresses that higher level of appreciation.
Right. It adds that weight without feeling forced. So think of alternatives like really, so much, or even just using a stronger verb. For example, instead of I enjoyed the show very much, you could say I really enjoyed the show or I absolutely loved the show. It just flows better,
Absolutely. So the takeaway here is that while very much isn't incorrect, It's often not the most natural or idiomatic way to express strong feelings or intensity in English. Try to gravitate towards really, so much, absolutely, or even just using a stronger verb or adverb that, just sounds more like something a native speaker would say. It just makes your English sound, well, more authentic. All right, so we've covered quite a bit today, haven't we? It's always good to just quickly recap these key points because, repetition really helps them stick.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to run through them again really quick. The first one was, ditching I am agree for the simpler, more correct I agree. Remember, agree is a verb all on its own. It doesn't need to be hanging around.
Right. And then we moved on to he don't versus he doesn't. That third person singular does is super important in negative sentences in the present tense. Like he doesn't, she doesn't, it doesn't, always with this.
And then we had say versus tell. That one can be tricky, but the main thing to remember is that tell usually needs a direct object, someone you're telling to, like he told me, whereas say often doesn't, as in she said that she was tired.
Yep. And then, the classic, forgetting the S or ES in the third person singular. Like he walks, she plays, it rains. It's just a small letter, but it makes a big difference.
And finally, the very much discussion. While not technically wrong, we talked about how alternatives like I really like it, I love it, or I appreciate it greatly often sound more natural and just flow better in everyday English. So, try those out.
Exactly. So those are our 5 common mistakes for today. The biggest takeaway, honestly, is to just start actively noticing these in your own speech and maybe when you're reading or listening. Practice, practice, practice. That's really how you solidify these fixes.
For sure. And we'd love to hear from you too. What are some common mistakes you find yourself making, or maybe ones you hear a lot from other learners? You can, reach out to us at Agani Academy English, share your thoughts. It really helps us know what topics you guys want us to cover next. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Agani Academy English. We really hope this session on these common mistakes was helpful for you all out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Our whole mission here is, to help you improve your English skills in a practical, real-world way. So hopefully these tips on how to fix those common errors will stick with you.
We really appreciate you tuning in and spending this time with us. If you want more content, you can always find us at Agani Academy English. We're always working on new materials and resources to support your language journey.
So for Eric and myself, Amanda, thank you so much again for listening. Keep practicing, keep learning, and don't be afraid to make those mistakes as long as you're, learning from them.
Exactly. Until next time, take care and keep up the great work with your English. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.